So for our first sentiment study video of 2024, we're going to be tackling silver. At times it's had some volatile moves, though it did finish the year not too far off where it started, unlike gold. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it and take a look at where traders stand on our end. They're in extreme buy territory, and they've raised it a couple notches since the start of last week from 82% to 84%. That's considered extreme buy. And when it comes, by the way, to the other precious metals, you got platinum. They're similar at around 83%. Palladium, even higher, almost 94%. But when it comes to gold, which has double-digit percentage gains, giving a chance for some of our clients to be able to unwind some of those longs, the bias actually has dropped, and that's why they're in more moderate majority buy territory at around 57%. So when it comes to silver, extreme buy territory, holding on. And when it comes to COT speculators, they're also majority buy, heavy buy at that, but not in extreme buy territory just yet. In fact, they have been pulling back in percentage terms. Longs are up. In fact, they're up more than shorts, but we convert it into percentage terms, and as a result, backing off from 71% to the latest report released last Friday, where positioning is as of last Tuesday to 70%. That's the COT report coming out of the CFTC. What about when it comes to COT speculators in the remaining precious metals? For gold, they actually have a tendency to hold heavier buy. So you usually see gold a lot more than silver. And in this case, they're actually in extreme buy territory at 78%, though they have been a little bit more cautious about adding as price rises. For platinum, by the way, just as a side note, they're also majority buy territory, but around 70%. They actually briefly almost, they went towards the middle, so it hasn't always been as bullish amongst them. And for palladium, an opposite majority sell and just shy of extreme short territory. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go and plot this stuff onto the chart, starting with the daily chart, and then we're going to move to the weekly chart, and then we're going to take a look at the gold-silver ratio. So this is the candlestick chart. Every candle represents a day's worth of price action. We got ourselves from around the beginning of November up until January, so about 2 months worth of data. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to plot sentiment onto it. If this is the first time you guys are watching this video, hi, my name is Monte. But essentially what I want to point out is that when it comes to plotting sentiment onto the chart, it's the dotted lines. Blue dotted is IG client sentiment. Green dotted is COT speculators. And you have to look at the left axis as percent long. So when you see the green dotted line, for example, reach 70%, it means there's 70% long COT speculators at that point in time. And you can see over here what I mean by that. You saw the latest reading was 70%. And for IG clients, they were in, 84%. So you'll notice that in this case, usually I put what's called a 50-50 red line. So whenever the dotted line goes below 50, it means that they are minority buy and majority sell. But throughout this entire period of time, over the past 2 months, they have opted to remain in majority buy territory. And that's why you can't even see the red dotted line, because it's always been, the lowest they've ever gotten is really 62% for when it comes to COT speculators. And you can see over here that when it comes to COT speculators, there is a portion of them that are momentum based. Whenever price goes up, you sort of see them building up their position. So price goes up, you see them slowly picking up. And then when price starts to retreat, they sort of go down. And as of late, we've been in a relatively range bound movement. There was a brief period of time where it looked like, and we'll see the chart later, but it looked like we were in some sort of a bull channel, only for that channel to get broken and for longs to get a bit disappointed in that regard. What about when it comes to IG clients, though? In this case, a situation of starting off extreme buy, prices went up, chance for a significant portion of them to unwind, although not the majority. It wasn't enough for them to want to shift to sell or even get out of heavy buy territory. And then came this big drop. It was very, very harsh, very successful. And you see that buys, boom, jump right back up into extreme buy territory and pretty much hold the line over here, especially considering where they've initiated some of those longs. There is a chance if prices went up and managed to go a little bit higher, there might have been a chance for some of those longs to get, some of those older longs to be able to get out. We haven't quite seen it just yet. And as a result, staying in extreme buy territory. There's also the matter of, let's not forget, there is a little bit of this attitude amongst traders that exists with silver, as it does with gold, that whenever it goes up, longs do want to get out, especially some of those fresh longs that are looking to trade some of that minor movement. But there is a portion of them going, well, hold on a second. They're anticipating further gains, and they don't want to miss out on that big move that everyone continues to hope for when it comes to silver. What about when it comes to the weekly time frame? Now, this is where things get a little bit crazier. This is from around February. Was it February of last year up until the latest action? I'm going to go ahead and plot sentiment onto it. And here you do see the 50-50 red line. Why? Because COT speculators, not IG clients, the green dotted is for COT speculators. They briefly went into majority sell territory before coming back up. Now, when this move right over here, IG clients managed to get this one right, because when it was a big gains from around 20 to about not too far off 26. You see that IG clients unwinding, a lot of those longs unwinding. They actually fell out of heavy buy territory and more moderate majority buy levels. And COT speculators, like as I mentioned before, let's go ahead and follow the green dotted line, usually going with it. So you see them raising their buys, but somewhat cautiously. It's not nowhere near as high as what it was for gold, for example. And then if there's when you see the pullback, for example, they sort of hold off or someone drop a little bit, and then once again price goes up, you see them build it, and then it comes back down. You see them unwind and get a bit of impatient once again. So there's a portion of them. It's not all of them, but there's a significant portion of them that's going with the moves, the momentum based trades, and it's understandable. And as a result, we see that they've been, for the most part, relatively controlled, briefly going in and out of heavy buy territory before ending where they are right now. But generally speaking, it's been a bit going a little bit with that. What I mentioned was that bull channel a little bit. Let's see whether or not they're going to want to stick at these levels. For IG clients, again, this has been the big move was right over here where they dropped out, and then it went right back in. And you can see over here that when it was over here, they were in extreme buy territory, at around in the 80%. And then if there was when price went up, unwinding, and then this week right over here was very brutal. You can see the sentiment absolutely jump, a really big jump. And I just want to point out another thing is that when we say extreme buy, usually 78% and above, it was far greater than that back in February. It was above 90%, which is very, very extreme. Now, the thing that a lot of times silver traders will bring up is the gold silver ratio. I'm going to go pull it up over here. This is on the daily. You can see that you might look at it and think, gold is getting relatively more expensive compared to silver. And as a result, those that are holding silver are going to want to hold on a bit longer. They might even consider shorting gold. In other words, shorting the gold silver ratio. I'm going to go ahead and pull up to the weekly time frame though. However, this is when we had the pandemic. So things are a bit out of whack over there. You might think, okay, I want to ignore this, what happened over here. Note it, but ignore it in the sense that it's not what you'll get in terms of regular movement. But you can see that compared to what we had pre-pandemic, not too far off that average. A lot of times what they are doing, silver traders, is they're going well before that. They're looking very, very, very historic levels, thinking, okay, usually it's supposed to be closer to around 65, which it did get there after the pandemic. It did get to 65, and then it sort of went back up again. So a lot of times they're looking at some of those very, very historic ranges, thinking, oh, it needs to be over there, and 88, which is where we are right now, the 88 handle, is seen as a bit too expensive. One thing I want to point out though is that, if you do think, okay, gold silver ratio has to come back down, silver needs to outperform, don't forget that if both gold and silver are dropping, then it's just a matter of it. So if the gold silver ratio comes down, if it's because gold is falling or silver is doing a lot better, then that's a plus for those of you that are holding silver. But if it's a situation, it doesn't necessarily always happen, but if it's a situation where both are falling, but it's just that gold is falling more than silver, again, it hasn't been the case as of late in some of the more recent examples when we see the gold silver ratio drop. But if that's the case, then you have to watch out, because if you're only holding long silver and both drop, you're still going to be losing on that position, if that makes sense. In other words, you're looking, if the goal is to trade the gold silver ratio, then essentially, and you think that it's going to fall back down, then what you essentially will be doing is shorting gold and going long silver. So it's a combined trade. So there's a difference between that and saying, I'm just going to go long silver, because then you're essentially exposed on one leg of the trade. But last, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our IG's trading platform. You have gold, you got silver, plenty of other items, and you can find IG client sentiment by clicking on client sentiment over here. And that's about it from our end. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck out there and happy ticks.